So, what we're going to be talking about today, and I'll kind of preface this with what I've been up to the last week and a half. Took a course on AI search. So not just chat GPT and like the interfacing with it to learn more information, but specifically going out and finding information through search engines using their soon to be free tool, Search AI. Okay. And what I found was pretty interesting, and then we will let you guys kind of take with it and run, or double in and try to understand it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my presentation. Now, as always, I'm going to minimize the screen as we go to a full screen presentation, but the chat is open on a different monitor, so ask questions as we go. This will be a little bit interesting, maybe a little more complex than we normally do, but I think it's going to really have a huge impact on the industry and how people are going to start to do business with, very specifically, us as realtors. So I had a much longer title, but I was actually told to dumb it down. And I'm going to tell you the title because I was really proud of my copywriting for it. It
Did
was
AI tell you to dumb it down?
no, Aveen did. So still, valid. So what I had initially is Google's empire cracking. AI revolution is changing search forever, staying real estate relevant in a changing landscape. I would have gone with that. Yes, Mary, you'll have a copy of the presentation and a recording. So don't just stay engaged though. Don't tune out just yet, okay? I know it can be a little bit technical. So for you guys who were on time, I asked you guys to GPT yourself. Everybody likely has Googled themselves. Am I right? Drop a little
Yes.
like thumbs up or whatever in the chat. Just let me
Yes.
know that you can actually hear me. How many of you guys have GPT'd yourself? And I think that's one of the big things is right now, Search AI has taken over just over 13% of Google's search traffic. Now, Google's going to be fine. They're going to earn billions and billions of dollars for probably years to come. However, you would have known going on to Google that the experience has changed. If you guys are going into Google, you're looking at it and saying, okay, if I want best neighborhood in Ottawa, for example, you'll also notice on top there's they're calling them like hot takes. So they're saying top 10, worst five. They're giving you additional keywords to search because every time you click on one of those, they're serving you more ads, which is essentially artificially inflating their profit margins. So there are alarms going on at Google. There's a lot of adjustment in how they're doing SEO and presenting rankings and even presenting ads. And it's all based on disruption from Search AI, Perplexity, other AI driven search engines or information data banks, we'll call them. And when you think about that, you think about Google. Before Google, we had Yahoo. Before Yahoo, we had MSN or whatever it was. And for decades, Google has been the search platform. It comes standard on Android devices. It comes on TVs. It's everywhere, right? And over the last many years, as AI has started to develop, Google has tried its best to keep up with search engine results. Now, the most recent one was last year in fall, and it was called the Helpful Content Update. And what that meant is they scoured through a whole bunch of stuff on the internet, pulled a bunch of websites offline because they deemed them as non relevant, and really doubled down on traditional key based searches. So that would be, let's say I drive past, one of, Chris's signs in Carp, for example, and I look up Chris Carson Carp. Those are fairly specific um, keywords that would garner me very specific results. Now, when you look at Search AI or Perplexity or any search engine that's driven by GPT, it not only has access to all of the data online, it also has access to how people are asking for certain bits of information. So arguably, depending on what you believe, it can't really detect human emotion yet. However, it's often anticipating what people truly mean in the way they ask the questions, which I think is where there's a huge chink in Google's armor, and it's going to be a very difficult situation for Google to keep up. They've already tried to develop AI. That AI actually locked them out of their own system. They've done chess AI that's beat the top chess players in the world with ease. The amount of AI that's starting to integrate into everyday platforms is alarming slash incredible. So this whole presentation is going to be focused on how we can, as realtors, stay relevant and continue to end up in those search results. Okay. The other thing that Google is facing right now is a whole bunch of lawsuits from the Department of Justice. They're essentially been deemed a monopoly in the states, and as industrious as the United States are, they don't like that. So the DOJ is going to start to dismantle their companies. And as Google doesn't get data from, YouTube, well, AdWords, pretty much everything that they own, that platform is going to further soften, I guess, is the good word. And I think there's a very interesting in way for AI developers to come in and create some phenomenal search tools that are going to, usurp Google in probably 5 years or so based on the data. It could be quicker depending um, on some factors about development. Now, it'd be interesting to see how well this comment ages. If in 5 years we're all super successful and still on Google, good for us. But there's a good opportunity to be had here by learning about this AI platform. So, as we're talking about the AI search platform, the traditional keywords that you probably have spent, if you haven't done it yourself, you've spent thousands of dollars doing SEO on your website, is mostly going to be obsolete, right? People invest very heavily on traditional SEO, and it has garnered incredible results over the last decade or so. It is becoming increasingly more and more difficult. I have friends who have been having websites that traditionally would receive millions of visitors a year that who have essentially shut them down because they've been that impacted. And not because the website was uninteresting, it was because Google has done so many updates now that they don't know what they're doing anymore. Okay. So when you look at Search AI, which is a paid search algorithm right now, it'll be rolling out in the next few months for free. It gives you very tailored results and exactly what you're looking for without you actually knowing what you're looking for. Okay. And a lot of the search is going from links to personalized interaction where people are talking openly and honestly about various topics. Okay. And why does this matter to your business? Obviously, it's super important. I think it's a game changer. Other agents who, are just do things differently may not be as phased as I am about it. I'm excited and a bit nervous for a lot of the industry because there are some massive changes happening, and there's a lot of power giving back into customers or clients or self-represented parties and clients, right? The way people search for homes, neighborhoods, investment properties is going to change. That's one of those things where the change is inevitable, and we can either get ahead of it or lag behind, and our business will feel that effect. Clients more than ever, the one thing that the search and chat GPT have given is a furthering deterioration of our attention span. We want answers immediately, and we want them strictly about us. And ChatGPT, Search AI, Perplexity, all these engines that are driven by AI give that to us immediately. Now, when you think about it, and I want to put this further because you'll have to start reverse engineering what your effort to be relevant with AI looks like. Search AI is going to deliver a hyper personal experience. They tailor it to the person's behavior, their preferences, their location. And keep in mind that the more you interact with the AI, the more it actually learns more about you, right? If any of you are working on ChatGPT, you'll notice that all of your scripts stay within the system. And all of those scripts contribute to the AI understanding more and more about you, your language, how you search, and everything that can help to deliver a more specific experience. So hyper personalization can look like hyper localized content, right? For myself or anyone on the team here, we can go out and do, Ottawa based content, right? Or we could go out and do Greeley, Glebe, Orleans, Carp. We can get very specific on that. We could even go one step further and say, Forest Lakes, Huntley, Chapel Hill, and now we're getting into the municipality level, right? And that's where we're going to talk about very specific types of houses, very specific businesses, and really hone in on a specific community that appears to be somewhat different than Orleans as a whole or Carp as a whole, right? We're going to talk about the schools. We're going to talk about, plazas or whatever is in there. The other thing that we want to do is now we want to try to make our listings a little bit more personalized, right? I'm sure most of you are going to ChatGPT and saying, write me a real estate listing for this house. These are the features, blah, blah, blah. And it will do it and it'll write a very good listing. What we want to be doing instead is focusing on how we can get certain words into the listing so that we can pull someone apart to say, you're looking for an eco-friendly house. So we really want eco-friendly homes or eco-friendly features somewhere in that listing. Okay. A lot of the AI data shows that people who are searching for real estate are actually going through neighborhoods, taking pictures of houses, loading them up to AI and saying, find me homes like this near me. And I can guarantee you, I've done it. The results are incredible. They're able to comb through rent.com, Zillow, Realtor, Kijiji, all of those listing services and pull listings to say, you might like these. We ran a little I guess experiment in our team meeting. The prompt that we used for AI was able to pull all of the for sale by owners that are listed on the internet within Finley Creek. I believe it was Finley Creek, which is a smaller neighborhood within Ottawa, and it pulled all of it with phone numbers, emails, listing, address, and some features. So I think a lot of people who are going to sit on this may get left behind. AI now incorporates a more visual search. We need to be able to remain relevant by providing the system what it's asking for. Okay. And the last point that I really want to focus on is the shift from keywords to context, right? Context is now more important than ever. The interaction that you have with AI is no longer about, you know, show me X. It's actually an ongoing conversation where they get to a point where it already knows kind of what you're asking for. So the context over it all will actually matter far more than the keywords themselves. So when we look at how to optimize our businesses for it, we want to have AI driven SEO, right? We need to incorporate certain analytics. We need to find trending, statistics or inquiries in our market. We need to be specific about blogs, frequently asked questions, and guides looking for, common real estate concerns, right? Best neighborhoods for families in Ottawa. When I'm looking up this particular context, I know that I want the best neighborhood, not overall or not by income or demographic. I want the best neighborhood for families. Now, we all know that that realistically could be most neighborhoods in any safe city, but if you're putting out content that is very specifically trying to highlight one neighborhood and it's a niche neighborhood, you might be in a situation where AI picks you instead of, Joe Realtor next door who isn't doing hyper local um, content. Okay. Now, the other thing, we want to build a very local authority, right? So this is where community updates come in. We can go in and find pretty much any statistic that we want And we could put it into content very easily. We can talk about this many houses went up for sale this week. This is how many sold. This is the inventory. That's all stuff that is pretty cornerstone to our businesses anyway. Now it's all shifting to more lifestyle, education, and very kind of tight-knit community, which sounds weird because we have, this machine overlord delivering us community updates, right? We need to be more human so that the AI can deliver our results to somebody else so that they could potentially work with us, right? We talked about it. ChatGPT is a phenomenal tool, and that will feed a lot of how the AI is thinking. If any of you guys are ever stuck for content, go on to ChatGPT and just say, I need a month's worth of content. I want to post 2 reels a day, all about Ottawa and its, niche neighborhoods. Generate me some ideas. It'll generate the ideas. You take those ideas and say, now elaborate and develop a 30-second script for each of these ideas. Now you have your 30-second script. And then you can take those and say, if you really wanted to, you could say, create a video for me, and it will do so. Now, some of those are more paid AI tools, but you could run your content machine almost exclusively on AI. Okay. How we can adapt our listings for search. This is where we really want to enhance the descriptions, right? So taking away fluff and more focusing on the community. So if you have a condo and it's 1 bedroom and there's not too much to talk about, and you still have a whole bunch of characters available, start to talk about the neighborhood around it. Talk about how it's within walking distance to coffee shops and, Michelin restaurants or whatever that might be. Highlight those restaurants individually, right? Don't be afraid to go to the restaurant, test them out, and if you genuinely like it, add it to your listing. Video tours, 3D walkthroughs are going to be very, very integral. And then the last part is data integration. So if any of you are on I believe it's the Ottawa Real Estate Board, they just introduced a wild, like 9-page document. Fill that out to the best of your abilities. There is a ton of great data on that should be integrated into the listing rather than saying, here's my bare minimum of what was required to not have my transaction coordinator mad at me. Here we go, right? Fill it out to the best of your ability, even on things that you think might not be very important, right? If something has a covered porch, right? Most houses, at least in Ottawa, have a covered porch. Don't take that for granted because you put that in. AI is going to go through your listing and determine how complete it is, how much information has been left out, and then it's going to be able to put that listing in front of your potential buyers. Okay. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but my little robot guy throughout the presentation has been getting more and more evil. And now we've kind of blown up the system, right? With all of this in place, let's say every realtor goes out, they're all leveraging marketing, and it's just become this, grim dark universe where, only the brightest of bright shine through and actually get to do business. I want you guys to take a crack at what this glowing orb is, representing the single most important thing for being ranked in Search AI. Take a crack at it. And I'll repeat it again. What is the single most important thing for Search AI to deliver results that show you? And there's been a ton of like data studies on it. There is one thing that is an indicator of your ability to get in front of Search AI results. Don't be shy.
Having your content in good order
Nope.
on what's the question? Can you be more
Yeah,
specific?
there is one single main determining factor about AI choosing you over someone else in somebody's search. And it's the foundation of everything, trust. And they do that through reviews. Reviews are now more important than pretty much everything else that you are putting forward
Hmm.
because it's going to go, AI will scour the internet to try to find the best person to put in front of their searcher. Now, you combine the content, you're doing well. You combine content with amazing reviews that you're regularly updating, that you're going out and replying to, you are going to be put first in almost every one of the searches. So, if there's anything to take away from this, everybody needs to make a concerted effort to go out and get great reviews on Google, Yelp, Rate My Realtor, Realtor.ca, literally anywhere that you can collect a review, you want to be collecting reviews. Showcase them on your websites, showcase them in community forums, showcase them on Facebook, and go out and get those reviews. That is the single most determining factor for success in AI search. So, as AI destroys everything around it, being the real estate industry and your competitors, they're going to hold you up because you are amazing with lots of reviews. And it's just going to be a really good thing. Now, one thing that I really want people to take away is kind of, five main points. Content, very important, right? High quality content is even more important. And if you can make it very niche, it's the most important. Neighborhood guides, frequently asked questions about neighborhood, and always, always, always accompany it with video or at the very least visual cues. If you are technologically inclined, you can go into your website and work with your schema markup, and you add structured data like alt text, menu structures, local business maps, and frequently asked questions to your website. When you're thinking about local, you need to have a Google business profile. If you do not have one, it's very easy to set up. I'm pretty sure I have a video somewhere of a walkthrough. Just let me know if you need it, I'll send it to you. You need to give reviews, you need to get reviews, and reply to everything. One of the best ways to get this really ramped up is to actually collaborate with local businesses for some added clout. AI platforms. I don't know if any of you guys know, but Reddit and Quora are actually AI driven platforms. That means that while there are, subreddits or sub communities that are, monitored by certain people, the overall platform is actually run by AI. So all of the information that you would ever see on Reddit, good, bad, ugly, horrible, fantastic, all gets fed into the AI machine. Now, personally, I've tried to go into Reddit. It is something that I don't think I will do. But a lot of people, if you really like to engage at a very community level and you have patience for people spouting off their mouth about everything, it's a fantastic tool. And I'm certain that I'm leaving money on the table by not doing it. I may revisit that at some point, but I'm telling you, it is single handedly the best place to be providing content to your community. But be prepared to have thick skin. Now, the last point, keep up. You need to make sure your website, your social medias are up to date, not just with the general information, but real time listings, your market data, other timely information. We were talking with our coach last week. He was saying how his weekly update, he does a quick 2-minute video, he posts it up to his website. I I went and tested this part of the theory in the best realtor in Boston. He actually came up. So good for Danny Griffin. He's amazing. But it takes him just a couple of minutes. He records a video, puts it up raw on his website, and that is enough because we're moving away from a perfection of content age and now looking for valuable context driven content. So don't be shy to pull your phone out, give everyone a quick update, or pull out your phone and say, hey, someone just asked me this question. It's a very interesting question. Here's the answer to why it's important to do an inspection on a new home build. Post that up, put a little description, away you go. Now, one of the things that is what I believe is important, you can work against this or you can work with it. I believe that some realtors who adopt AI as, essentially a partner are going to be in a much better position than those who shrug it off or don't want to be a part of, this change realistically. Now, if you're in Ottawa, you know that we've been going through a big change with our board matrix system or whatever it's called. Change is scary, and it's something that's ultimately inevitable. I do believe that AI and how we're going to have to weave it into our business somewhere is inevitable, but I think that there's a lot of people that are going to overcomplicate it. What you do, you go out, you be relevant in your community, you contribute positively, you answer questions. AI is going to reward people for doing that. Okay. The other thing that I think is that people really need to double down on, once you have a lead, a prospect, a past client, you have to stay in touch with them to continue the human connection. Now more than ever, I think all of our businesses are, exposed to people popping online, looking up a search, getting information from a particular realtor. And if they don't have a strong affinity to us as realtors, or if they're not under agreement already, I do believe that there's going to be a good number of people that start to lose clients through AI searches, not because they're, past buyer of, 4 years ago did anything wrong. It's just that they found information that they were looking for at a time that was important to them, and you weren't there. So, as you guys are thinking about this, I want you to partner with AI. I don't want you to shy away from it. It is a tech change. It's simpler to deal with than you actually think. And, when we went into the deep kind of dark hole that is AI and being front and foremost, a lot of the coaches that I was working with during this training, you just create a system, and that system will help you use the AI system to better your business. I think that adopting it is going to be a really positive thing for a lot of people's businesses. My team would have seen on Tuesday how passionate I am about this. I'm looking forward to adopting a lot of it, and a lot of it's going to be trial and error. If, as you guys are doing it, you have questions, reach out. I'm really happy to talk about this. I could probably talk about it for hours, right? And there is going to be a good shift. And I want to make sure that we're arming you with everything that you guys need to be able to leverage AI to actually benefit from it, and not just make more money, but to help more people, right? We are in a game of helping people make arguably the largest decision of their life. Using AI can help them. It can help you help them. Okay. Now, I do have a little bit of a confession to make, but before I make this confession, out of, 1 to 5, 5 being incredibly valuable, 1 being not valuable at all, take a quick second in the chat and just let me know kind of what you thought about the overarching presentation. If you hated it, you'd never want to see me again, you put a 1. If you think it's, amazing, it opened up your eyes to what's coming, I want you to be able to put a 5. 5, 5, definitely a great tool. 5. Okay. So, how many of you also believe that you bring a tremendous amount of value to the lives of your clients? 1 is I go and I open a door. 5 is I think I leave a lasting impact on my clients through valuable education and everything. 5. Everyone's going to say 5. We all think we're amazing, right? So, some of you guys know this if you know me at a deeper level. Um, this may be a surprise. I'm actually really big closet nerd. Okay. And I really like painting little miniatures like this guy. Okay. Pretty cool, eh? It's a plastic piece of thing. Took me 45 minutes last night. I did this entire presentation without touching my computer and just speaking to AI through my headset. I'm not taking credit for any of this. So, you guys just suggested that this was a very valuable tool, a very valuable presentation, and I put very little effort into the actual presentation, and it came out pretty good. I also put a little bit of effort in this guy, and I think he actually looks pretty good too. Um, so I think a lot of people need to understand that AI is going to be a very powerful tool for clients as well. And when they're thinking about it, they could have an interaction for 25 minutes with with nobody, not a human, and probably get all of the information that they are going to need to buy or sell their house, to learn about neighborhoods, to, arguably find data about how a house is valued and be able to put an offer in. I think AI is going to greatly disrupt people's perception of value. And this is where now more than anything, human connection is going to be huge. And I'm going to leave this kind of story about a prospecting method that I've been toying with. Um, there was a stat that essentially said, realtors don't really, or sorry, clients don't remember the realtor they worked with after 2 years if there's no ongoing communication. One of my best prospecting methods recently, I went into our MLS, pulled everyone that had bought a house in 5 years, in it like 5 years ago today, and I'm writing them a letter that just says, and it's a letter written by AI, by the way, congratulations on the 5 year anniversary of your home. A lot has been going on. Would you like a market update? And I can tell you, I've had two listings from this. It is crushing it. And people believe that I am the one that actually sold them their house to the point where I walk into their house and they're hugging me, having never met me before. The human psychology is very interesting. And if you are not keeping regular update, regular contact with your clients and your prospects, you will get left behind, right? And I don't want anybody to ever be in a situation where they call up a client and they go, hey, it's been 2 years. How are things going? Do you have a referral for me? And they're like, oh, I just sold my house. Times were a little tough. We had to downsize. So we sold our house and bought a house. And little Johnny is 19, so he's renting. And his friend is rich and just bought a house. There's 4 transactions that you could have lost because you're not keeping up contact. If you guys need a good contact strategy, go to ChatGPT. How can a top performing realtor stay in touch with his clients in a non-annoying way and have top of mind status? And it will kick back a plan. I can promise you that because I did that. Right. The other thing, if you have prospects, you got to be hitting them, once a week, twice a week if you feel confident. I personally hit my list 3 times a week. Monday, they get a deal of the week. Wednesday, they get a market update. And Friday, they get an allegory, which is essentially a story about real estate, right? It's maybe a mistake that someone had made this week, or a property that I saw that made me think about, a certain lesson. Or sometimes I kind of just go off and talk about the boy, the son, and his donkey, right? That's where there's a lot that can be had from human connection. And I think if you let that human connection wane, you're introducing risk to your business that is not necessary. Okay. So you can take it, you can leave it, the red pill, blue pill. Is it the matrix? Is it going to be this all changing thing that knows everything about us? Yes, it already is. We all have our little friends on our phone that inject themselves into weird parts of conversation and go, well, did you think about this? And you're like, no, I didn't, Siri, shut up. They know everything already. It's time for us to work with it. Or if you're on the other side of it, you need to double down on human connection. Human connection is pretty much the only thing that is going to combat the availability and quality of information that's going to be coming from search AI and various tools. Okay. And with that being said, I hope it wasn't too dark and broody for you guys. I'm going to take this presentation off and have a little chat. There's no chats in the question or no questions in the chat, but I am here to answer questions. We got about 10 more minutes or comments, whatever you want to hit me with.
Great presentation, loved it.
I appreciate that, Lucas. Thank you.
I did have a question for you. So I had I guess I sum it up. I've taken a course with this guy, John Lee.
Okay.
It was given to us from the EXPCon. It
Okay.
was heavy based on utilizing AI and everything like that, what you're speaking on. I've been playing with it a little bit, coming up with scripts and things like that and ideas for helping promote. Have you found any system or AI that is really good for making like a guidebook, right? Like first time home buyer's guide or how to winterize your house guide. Like, is there any better system that you've explored?
So one of the really good graphic design ones is actually built into Canva.
Okay.
And it's on the Pro platform, which I think EXP recently did like an enterprise like an enterprise account, so we all have access to it. They have a good one. ChatGPT, if you have the premium, also has a good one. But you're not going to find one that's free.
Okay.
And what will happen is the graphic part of AI is still in development because they're trying to so think about ChatGPT and text base. We've been at this for like 3 years now. It has a tremendous amount of data, text base. The graphic side of it is going to require good designers, not myself, to upload quality files that they can start to work with their AI. The contradiction there is most good graphic designers don't actually like AI because they're going to be out of a job soon. So the quality input is not there yet. But to give you an idea, like the pictures that were in this presentation are all completely AI generated, right?
Very cool.
So I think that's it's getting there, but to do it's your own independent guide, honestly, go to Fiverr and pay someone $10, in India to do it.
Yeah.
You just give them the script, kind of the overarching theme, and they'll do it for you within a day, and it's done for like $10.
So you're saying go to Fiverr? Go
Fiverr, yeah,
Fiverr. Sorry, go to
Fiverr.
Fiverr. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you give them the script and go straight to them.
Yeah.
They take it from there. Okay.
Yeah. Good question though.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. All right. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to hit me up through the Northern Alliance email or right through Instagram or something.
Awesome, Mike. Great
Mike, I was
content.
wondering, please, where will we get your presentation? By email?
By email through the Northern Alliance, there's like an archive that gets sent out.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks.
Yeah. Fantastic.
It was
Have a
great.
good,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Thanks,
Have a
Mike.
good rest of your
Thanks
day,
a
guys.
lot for that, Mike. That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Everybody
Bye-bye.
go get your reviews.
Yeah, exactly.